Lent always puts us in the deep end of the pool. The readings are always challenging. They're meaty. They force us to think deeply about life. And today, the theme is all about the things we can't hold on to. The things that are always slipping through our fingers. We would like to think of life as like cleaning out a closet. And you can make piles of things. This I'd like to keep, and this I'd like to toss. But the truth in life is, we can do that, and most of us do, but we're going to have to let go of the keep pile, too. We don't just lose the toss pile, we lose the keep pile, too. So, we get to hear in the gospel about 3 of the 12 apostles getting to go to a mountaintop with Jesus. And they got to see heaven for just a minute. They got to glimpse what heaven was like. So they saw Jesus' full radiance, and they got to see Elijah and Moses. And remember, these are Jewish people. They are excited about that. And they get to hear, for the first time in their lives, the voice of God the Father speaking. Unbelievable. And so, Peter says, this is for the keep pile. Lord, can we stay here forever? But you can't. Our glimpses of heaven, our moments of everything making sense, they slip through our fingers. You can't hold on to them. We had a wedding here on Friday night in this church. The Freeze family celebrated a wedding, and it was, as they all are, a joyful event, a beautiful meeting of these 2 individuals into this beautiful new family. And whenever we have a wedding, the bride and the groom say aloud about the other one, "He's on my keep pile. I'm sticking with her. This is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm holding on to this relationship." And then, as part of the ceremony, we say, "So will you do this until death do you part?" That's the thing about marriage. You can't hold on to it. The years go by so quickly. And we know that there's words in the English language to remind us of this. The word widow, the word widower. Our marriages and the years of our lives, they pass, they slip through our fingers. Marriage is not something we can hold on to. Lately, because it's been Lent, we've been seeing a lot of folks who have been away. The combination of Ash Wednesday coming when it did with the surge, the last surge of the virus that we've had, kind of relenting a bit, it was perfect. It allowed a lot of families that have been away for 11 months to come back. And that was a great joy for us all. But for me, the biggest thrill was the kids. But I couldn't get over it. Every time I was going through the pews to give communion to a family, I would see the kids and I'd say, the body of, you got so big. You got so big. But of course, the reason why I felt that way is because I was going off of a memory of how they looked a year ago. That's what I was using in my brain, as if I've got a PDF, and then there was the real kid a year later, and of course, they look completely different. Parents know this. Our children's childhoods, they slip through our fingers. Our children are gifts from God that we're so grateful for, but we can't hold on to them. So this is where we get this first reading, this powerful first reading that most of us know from going to catechism class, but we don't like it. Almost no one likes this story. Abraham and Isaac. It's meant to be extreme. It's meant to wake us up. But I think it would be a waste of time for us to talk about, why does God want a parent to give away their child? Why would God want Abraham to harm Isaac? And I think we need to let that go, because that's not what this story is about. Clearly, that's not what this story is about. This story is not about how we're ever going to be asked by God to harm someone else to please God. That'll never happen. The story is meant to help us wrestle with the fact that we have to be able to let go of everything. A lot of us believe that our children are ours. But of course, that's never true. They're from God. They're God's. And we can't control them. We can't decide what they're going to do with their lives. We can't control their choices. We can't save them from mistakes. We have to let them go on their own journey. Our kids are treasures, maybe the most important gifts that we could ever have. And we can't hold on to them. So, this is where faith comes in. Faith is more than just believing something. Believing is important, but beliefs are in our head. And we have to also go deeper into our hearts in order for faith to be faith. And our heart space is where our trust is. That's where the component of faith that connects us with God, no matter what, lives. We have to trust. And trust means we don't get to have proof. Abraham had no way to know how this story was going to turn out, but Abraham trusted God. And so then we hear, in between these two challenging readings, we hear this beautiful second reading that says, let's remember, everybody, that if God is for us, we're going to be fine. If God is for us, who can be against us? Let's not waste time being afraid of how this story ends. If God is for us, who could be against us? And we hear that God says to Abraham, after Abraham faces the terrible reality, I can't hold on to my greatest gift. I can't hold on to even my son. God says, I promise you, you are going to have more children than there are grains of sand on all the beaches of the world. You just have to trust me and remain open. Mother Teresa once said that the secret of life is going through with open hands. And she said, if God wants to give you something, your open hands will be in the perfect position to receive. And if God wants to take something from you, you won't be holding back. You'll be able to give. And this is the rub that takes an awful lot of character and strength. That requires tons of trust. And even in those moments that we hear, like the gospel, the mountaintop moment where everything is so beautiful, only 3 of the apostles got that reassurance. 3 of them got to see, oh my goodness, this is amazing. But that meant that there were 9 others who didn't see it. And I don't know if you would rather have been one of the ones who saw it but could never go back there again until heaven, or one of the ones who just had to hear about it and trust. I'm not sure which would be harder, actually. It might actually be a little easier, though hard in its own way, to have heard about it and say, wow, that's amazing, I can't wait, than to have been the one to see it and been told, you can't hold on to this. I think all of us need to recognize that that's hard. Both of those are hard, and we have to choose our hard. So this week, we are being given some homework. We have to see if we can grow in our acceptance that we don't get to hold on to things in life, that we have to go through with our hands open. Everything that we receive is a gift. That's because we're humans. We don't get to create things, we receive things. So everything that we get is a gift. So that means our children are gifts, can't hold on to them. Our spouses, our talents, our ability to walk and talk, all of the moments of our life, our youth, can't hold on to it. Our mountaintop moments, all of it. All of it, we can put it on the keep pile if we want, but we don't get to keep the keep pile. It slips through our fingers. So one of the most important things we can do is accept that part of our task as God's children is to be willing to let go, because holding on will not work. It's heavy, right? But this is what Lent is for, to go into the deep end of the pool for a little while, but not without hope, because we have that beautiful reminder. You are going to have more children than you can count, more than there are grains of sand on the seashore. And let's remember, all of us, in all the moments that we face, if God is for us, what is there to worry about?